you work with code, with codecs. We live in a hyper-technificated society, full of possibilities, but it seems that we have que hace unas preguntas más largas. Parece que sin embargo tendremos, but it seems that we go in a one direction way, or clonic way.
The application of technology in the global context.
Of these technologies. I thought, she thought about your work as a way to express the plasticity and the digital structure. Moreover, the pragmatism. What is the question? Okay, just talk about that.
There is many things.
In the
question.
Yes, it's like I think in your work, like a new way to explore the technology, nor the clonic or nor the clonic way.
When you say clonic, you say the copy of the reality.
Sí.
Tenéis que haber estado en la presentación.
No, es que no.
It is funny because you understand me. Yeah.
Yes, I understand.
Because, for example, Gonzalo's friends want to see me because he wants to understand how am I doing. Because he tries to do some kind of same stuff with the same technique, and he would like some advice. And the fact is, it's impossible to give some advices because this is just experience. No, it's well recording. It's experience, so it's the way you have built in time a relationship with the tools, and you know how the tools can act and react, when you engage something. And it's not methodological. So it's not a recipe like in cooking, you can follow. It's every time a new path, almost the same, but a new one. So it's not having a method and do it every time the same way. So you never have the same result because this is not exactly the same path. And in fact, today a lot of people think that there is always a process to have a result, and informatics are really involved in that way of seeing things. So if you want to reach this result, there should have be logical method you can apply to have the result. But if you try to understand art or make some art, you just want to escape from that. There is no recipe to make a real work of art. There is recipe to make fake work of art, to copy things. But to copy things is not to create something, because it's just a question of something you have inside and you want to see. You want something new, You just do not want something that makes you feel better. You have to become better, something like that. It's just a question of ego. It shouldn't being a question of ego. And so the society globally is really touched by this thinking of methods to do everything, even if you set up an exhibition in a museum, you have the guy from the communication and mediation that always have plans so that people will understand better the artwork, so that you can better concentrate the flow of people in the museum and so on. And so they have recepts, they have methods, they have logics that are built on statistics, but not on experience. The best way is to be in the museum, meet the people, understand the people, and so you can enter in a dialogue. And it will be completely different from any kind of logic kind of method you will apply in that.
The last question.
Yes. You use the glitch art for generate your pieces. Usually, people. Well, we are. I'm going to recommend, or maybe improvise because I always improvise. People now used to look for the perfect quality of the image, but you work with the error. So, are these errors are always yeah. Do you look for the errors, or they happen? She should be yesterday or tomorrow morning in the presentation.
Yes, I can.
No, but she has worked at the museum with a scholarship, so she couldn't.
I'm also looking for a very high quality of the image, but it's not the standard one. You understand that? I'm looking for a very good quality of the image, but this is not the common one. This is not standard. Standard.
Yo te traduzco.
No, no, intento.
You understand standard?
Yes.
Standard is also a concept in communication, and especially in digital communication, because when you have two different systems, they have to communicate, so they have to have a standard to recognize things. The idea of standard is very important in all informatics, and it's very important for distributions also. So when you make a box of pasta, you have to have a standard size, to enter it easily in packages and stuff. So this question of standard is very related to the globalization of distribution. As soon as you have to send a lot of things to different places, they have to recognize it and understand very fast and so. So you use standard of communication, standard of presentation, standard of speaking about things, and so I fight the standard of image, but I have my own standards, and they do not correspond. The idea is to be involved in a standard of quality that is related to the reality of the technology, and not to something in the mind. It's not a dream. For example, today you have all the cameras on the phones and on the photo camera and the video camera that have more and more higher resolution. So the pixels become smaller. On the screen, you cannot see, if you have a 4K screen, you absolutely do not see the pixels. They are very too tiny. And the idea to make them disappear and to have a very beautiful image when you see it. But in the reality, if you enlarge the image, you will see a lot of artifacts, a lot of errors, a lot of enforcing of stuff. For example, Sony is really involved in that kind of stuff. They force the sharpness of the contrast in images. But as you have a very large image, you don't see it. You just see the result, And the result is the resizing of the image on your screen. If you print it, a very high resolution, you see it's completely blurry, you see a lot of stuff, a lot of artifacts, you can see very bad contours of shapes. It's because mathematics are involved in transforming the image so that they can have an effect on your looking,
Yeah.
Because when you have a very small captor, a very small sensor on the camera, it gets a few information, It doesn't have a lot of information of seeing the world of of understanding what's happening in front. So there is a lot of synthesis and a lot of mathematics enhancements in the image. So the standards are built on what you think you are looking, but not on the reality of what you are looking. And my standards are connected to the reality of what you are looking. And this is why I'm searching for high quality. But I make errors, and I force the video to express its infrastructure. But for me, it's not error. It's errors for the common standards, because those things have not to be seen. Every time, for example, when they sent the image of my exhibition for the vinyl, the printer was scared because there was a lot of pixels, we can't see anything, Every time, when a festival doesn't know my films and he gets a new copy, he thinks it's not working, because he loses his reference to the standard.
Yes. Okay.
So I finished the question of the glitch. I do not use glitch, because you spoke about glitch.
Está en contra de que su arte se defina como glitch. Yo no lo hago, pero está en contra.
Why?
Why? Because it's why I do it. Because people that make glitch consider glitch as an error that do criticize the society, but they only make glitches. They make.
Yeah.
You see only destruction. So I make errors. I force the video bad working, but I don't want to destruct it. I do not consider this gesture as a destruction. I'm breaking the video file, but to create something from the breaking. It's like if you break a marble piece.
Yes.
You don't break it to say, "Oh, it's broken. I'm criticizing the world," because I break the medium. No, you are building something. It's an act of creation. So, and it's completely transforming the idea of error.
¿Puedo hacer una pregunta respecto a esto yo?
Sí, claro.
I'm going to make you a question about that. Okay, you know that the concept of error is a construction of the society, because for what's an error for some people, for you it's not an error, it's just opportunity to create something. But you think that the work you are beautiful? I mean, because you are saying that you use this error not in order to criticize, but in order to just create something new. But so, do you think that the concept of beauty can be like not eternal, but I mean, you don't discuss with the concept of beauty or with the concept of new thing, because the glitch art that you are talking about also creates something new, distorting everything, and maybe some people consider also that beauty. So the concept of beauty, or the final.
Yeah, I don't speak so much about beauty,
I know you didn't use that term, but I think it's implied.
And it can be dangerous, as a few weeks ago a guy told about great art, the great art, something that has been abandoned for years and years because of the question of technique in art. The great art is the beauty and the standard beauty. I think the problem is not that we build things beautiful or not. The question is what kind of energy, as artists, we put in stuff for real, and what is our purpose. My purpose is to build things, to open spaces to people, to connect people, and to give some love.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to be very gentle, even if there is some violence and something very deep, it's romantic. It's never, nowadays in my work, it's never to fight people that look at my stuff, never to attack them. You know, if there is something violent in some of my pieces, it's not an attack. It's just a distortion of the space, but it's not something made to beat them. And I think it's a huge difference because in plenty of glitch artworks, the question is to push people, to make them fall from their position to understand something. But the question is that it's made so much inside of a unique position. It's not building something else, you know. It's just at the beginning, in fact. It's just the first gesture. So you have the opening of the technique, you have the first position, but there is no transformation after. There is no gesture. The artistic gesture has to build something completely. So I think it's just a question of time and a consciousness.
Timing in which sense? A question of time in which sense? In the duration or the contemporary time?
The contemporary time, you know, it's because I think they will move. Plenty of them will move. Maybe I was like they are, you know. The difference is most of them started in maybe 5 or 6 years ago, and I have 3 times more time of research, you know, and even 4 times more of research in my path of creating art. So it's maybe just not the same consciousness.
Well, intento seguir. I try. In your work, there is a big connection with paint. In the color, texture, etc. Why you connect paint and video and cinema? There are 2 questions. Why you connect this discipline? Bueno, paint and cinema. And ¿qué fue primero?
Creo que la pregunta tendría que ser, porque la conexión la haces tú. Le voy a preguntar, ¿crees que, o sea, tú
Bueno,
se puede
sí,
tratar una conexión?
también.
Well, I'm just saying that the connection is made by her, not by you. So
Yes.
the correct, I mean, another kind of
My question is, why do you connect painting to my video?
I think, well, no te corrijo, solamente es para que
Sí,
igual te
sí,
diga algo
sí,
que te
es
interesa
que,
más.
claro.
Es decir, maybe, do you are inspired by painting, or do you
Yes.
try to find or to look like painting, or I mean, do you do constantly and did you ever painting? I mean, which was first, painting or video? If you in the past were a painting.
Yes.
In past there is painting, and I do not paint today. Last time it was in, I think, 1992 or 1993. I completely abandoned painting for 10 years, between 1992 and 2000, I think, at the beginning of 2000. But I think this is the form of art I love the most. And I am really in love with the matter, no? The deepness of representation is matter. So the deepness, the depth of death. Depth of feeling. And it starts from maybe Courbet. You know, I have an exhibition in France with Courbet, starting on Saturday. Yeah. So it's completely at the first degree related to the painting.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can start with Courbet, really, my love of painting, you know, but you can find some other painters before. And then Turner, and then Monet, and most of the Impressionists. But for example, Sara is boring me a lot. You know, I don't find it so interesting, always. And everyone who painted, almost, you know, I always find something that I like. And at one moment in my work, I wanted to reconnect to art history. It was in 2003, the moment where I decided to work on landscape. There were several points I decided to make this movement. I was working on the body. You know, my works before were kind of violent, and it was physical relationship to the body, and all my first work with video compression are with the body and the sexuality. The strong relationship with the body of image, between the body, human body and body of image. And then I decided to stop to push the image to make it go out of the screen. This idea with the body was to push the image out of the screen and to scratch the people with something very strong. And I decided to stop pushing people to reconnect to art history because I really wanted to find a way of build a technique who will be very connected to the reality of what is moving images, not video, moving image on a computer. And as I was searching in cinema, I did some narrative films. I was always searching how can I build something true. It was impossible with actors. Yeah, and it was very difficult with everything. And I started to find ways of dealing with the true reality of what is a moving image on a computer. And so it connects me to the painters at that moment, to the moment where in painting some painters decided to express the reality of the painting and to make it the subject of the expression of the world. So it's the relationship between painting, for example, it starts with Turner, I think, maybe a bit Courbet, but the real moment is when Turner starts to speak, and to scratch painting with his fingers and to have a physical relationship with it. So that people see his movement in painting. They can see his presence in the gesture of the painting as the way he links to the subject and he expresses the subject. And it changed completely the statue of representation because the artist really become someone who is not just in mediation. It's not just an interface that has objectivity or just a style. It's someone who translates something in a different language, where the language is really important in the relationship where you have, and it has a singularity. And so what is funny is that when I've done that, I found this technique basis with video compression. And what happened is that because of our culture, we recognized painting in digital.
Yeah.
But if you see, I have a video documentation of an installation which name is Mistral. You can find it on my Vimeo. It's easier to go by my website. It's Mistral. And you can see some very close-up. So it was a 10-meter high video installation in a church. And so when you are far, you see the whole image. But if you walk, you go on the screen, the pixels were something like 2 or 3 centimeters wide. And they are very clear. So you can see really how the image is working when you come very close of the wall. And you see that there is no fluidity. It's very mathematical in motions. And you see blocks and you see things that make like that, very strongly. And so the fluidity is just an impression. The materiality is an impression. there is a lot of things you see in the image when you are far that are just built in your mind because you recognize stuff and you make them look like something. But in reality, it's only mathematics and blocks. And there is a lot of times there where there is very violent movements in the surface of the image, but at that scale, you know. So I really work on this relationship, you know, on the two scales. And most of the time in my works, because of the question of quality, because I push the quality very far, it's not the case here, but it happens a lot of time. It's very complicated to adapt. Because of the question of quality, you can have this double vision. The vision of the medium that almost most of the time is hidden, and the vision of the result in your perception.
Podemos hacerle esta. ¿Me tienes que ir?
No, no, no.
Ah, mira, vamos a saltarnos esta, luego la llevo, pero esta me parece interesante. Sí. Simplemente si para llegar a estos efectos tiene sentido o en algún momento él va a dejar de filmar para empezar a tratarlo todo tecnológicamente. Díselo como tú puedas.
So she's asking if you find this worth, so keep filming the reality to find, to end with this kind of movies, or you can use another, por ejemplo, archivo que te he encontrado, ¿te refieres a algo así?
No, directamente utilizar el ordenador para crear estas imágenes.
Okay, or you think about to make you know, that China, Yoshiki Nishimura, you know, the guy from Yalava makes, all digital images. I mean, without
Without camera.
Yeah. No. I think the answer is very simple. It's because I am always speaking about our relationship with the world.
Yeah.
I have to be connected to the world.
Para es muy importante la relación que él tiene
Sí,
filmando.
sí, lo entendí perfectamente. Vale.
¿Cómo también
No? To be more precise, for me, the synthesis happens with the camera also, because you have a light sensor and then mathematics just behind the sensor, you know. And at the moment where the lights hit the sensor, it becomes a mathematical problem. And mathematicians and engineers had to find tricks to make it possible to record what the sensor gives as result. For example, there is a very interesting project that's called Axiom. You know that? Axiom. It's Apertus. It's a group of people worldwide who are building open source camera. And the main problem is that when you have a sensor, the output of the sensor is huge. For example, the sensor they have on the Axiom 2 is a 4K sensor that just output 200 frames per second. And so they have to build an image flow from that. But it's a huge amount of information. So from the beginning, it's a mathematical problem how you can deal with this flow of information that gives you the sensor to build something that will look normally after. So you have only technical problems where mathematics always find tricks. So the more powerful, economically powerful is the brand, the more efficient it could be, you know. But efficient it seems to be not efficient, but look like being efficient. But in reality, it's not, because if your sensor gives you 200 frames per second and you only can build 55 per second file, where are the other frames? You know, how are they chosen? So it's synthesis, in fact.
Ok. La 4 Sí. Bueno,
Wait then. In your work, the edition, the editing of images, the illustrated connections between the texture of the material application of the color on the canvas, no, the painting, the canvas, and the universe of pixel, the simulation 3D and the digital deformation. Haces unas preguntas tan difíciles.
bueno.
Deja la tesis un poco, coño. There is always some distortion that generates an extrañamiento. Extrañamiento.
C'est quoi?
Extrañamiento, like
When
you know that.
when we look your work, our point of view es que no sé, is strange about the
You know the
images.
that ¿cómo se llama? Bertolt Brecht theater, you know.
It's a dictionary, you can write it in Spanish.
You know Bertolt Brecht. This is okay. Theater that he appeals to what is the aim?
Extrañamiento. A ver, se le puede hacer de otra
No,
manera.
espera, es que esto es una palabra que es interesante, pero que es que no hemos oído.
Pero es que no creo que aparezca, porque es como...
Okay. Alineer, manquer. Okay. Okay, so making you feel like it's strange when you're looking the image. Okay.
Yes.
What do you mean? No.
No. People feel strange when they look the image?
Okay. When we look the distortion, siempre que hay algo de distorsión, completamente en la mirada. Siempre que en su trabajo. In your work, there are she said that there are always that errors, that distortion, put the spectator in a position of think about what is happening.
Yeah.
They like it, but they are wondering why it's happening. I mean. The image interpels you, asks you to think about the image themselves. So, which sensations do you feel, do you search to create using these tools?
I'm searching, I would love that life is always a following of beautiful surprises. And so you never can know what happens. So this is the idea from my films. You just cannot know what will happen. And for that, I work on the distortion of the image and also of the explosion of the perspective. The constructing perspective. A lot of in my work. My last exhibition in Paris was called Horizon, because I was working on the question of the horizon. And there is several kind of horizon in my works. And you have a kind of new horizon built that is between the field of the reality you recognize in the image and the technological dimension, when you see pixel and things that you know that are mathematics, but you don't know where they are because you believe it's a leaf, a tree, a cow, but something is not normal. So there is a distance built between something very far that is reality and something very close that is technology. And I want people to have freedom, because if you search for a very constructed film, you are completely lost. I will send you some of my films. I don't know if you have seen Etric. You saw the trailers.
I've seen some films in Europe, but I don't remember the title.
The Ettrick is the last one on Scotland. It's 1 hour film. And sometimes you look at the center of the image because something happening, and just after it's happening at the top. Nothing happens in the center of the image, so you don't see anything happening. It's like everything stops, and in your look you see that something is moving at the top. And so you are always playing like that, because the idea is not to connect things in a very focused space, like cinema where everything is connected, in editing with the way you look. So it's building a logic and deconstructing that. In most of my film kind of narrative, they are kind of narrative film like Impression, the one of Normandy with the cows. If you saw the cows. I'm playing with that because the idea is that you build yourself something. This is not the film that constructs a form of language, very straight, that you just have to understand. It's you build your own stuff, and you find your own path in the film.
Yo creo que se oye bien, como quieras. Yo lo dejo así. Porque además él también está grabando, no me puede pasar que seguro que es un grabador.
Pero si hay una cafetera...
No, se escucha bastante bien. Sí.
Bueno, yo igual alguna más y me tendré que ir.
Vale, la del paisaje, que sería las 6. Sí, no
So,
todavía.
you work with the idea of the landscape. Okay, but you don't use it.
¿Cuál es su forma de hacer paisajes del artista?
Bueno, but you don't present the landscape as a natural space for contemplation. The elements are deconstructed. They are decodified, and they run away of our side.
Yeah.
So, what's the way for you to work with the landscape from the aesthetic?
I make a huge difference between nature and landscape.
It's different.
Yeah.
Landscape is cultural and nature is. Yeah.
So for me, the image is a landscape.
The image is a landscape.
The image is
any image.
Any image is a landscape.
Okay.
Yes.
And so.
No, because I have to go to the.
I know.
Sorry, excuse me. So any image you produce by the camera, or any image you see?
Any image I see, because there are always a construction,
Okay, because I think the same, but people don't believe me.
Yeah. I believe you.
Yeah.
And so I use the landscape because I think I try to construct something you can understand. In France, there is a lot of long thinking about the theoretical question of landscape, and we have some very good philosophers that work. There is one guy I really like. He's an anthropologist. He's Philippe Descola, and he's teaching at Collège de France. It's the most famous institution, and he is working for 4 years on the question of anthropology of nature. And anthropology of nature is landscape. And he starts his course with a story. As an anthropologist, he was studying a community in Amazonia that has very few connection with Occident. And he was with them for months under the trees, don't see the sky, and they have a very strong relationship with nature. They consider plants as child.
I have to go
Okay.
to the clinic.
Okay.
¿Puedes
It's okay.
Bueno, mira,
I'll try
si os
it.
vais,
If you
está
want.
pagado, así que si queréis iros, podéis.
pues me iba a
Y si
pagar.
no, esperad a que vuelva un poco.
Vale. If you want, we can continue.
Yeah, if you understand me, it's okay.
I try. Yeah.
You tell me if you don't. I repeat. I try to
O
be
si no,
simple.
hablan en castellano, que él más o menos.
Okay.
Intenta no ser tan complejo.
Yes.
Y mejor. Te dejo.
So you understand me now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so these people are called the Ashwar, just for the day. And after months being in the forest, or weeks, I don't remember, they leave the forest to go to their cultures, and their cultures are after small mountains at the beginning of a river close to the sea. And so they leave the forest, they climb the hill, and when they are on the hill, they stop and they sit. And one of the Indians say something, and Philippe Descola, the anthropologist, understand it's beautiful. Because in the front of them, there is, at the beginning of the river, the culture, there is a huge perspective with the view. And he understands it's beautiful. But in his mind, something runs, and he remembers that beauty is not a concept in the community. It doesn't exist. They don't have the words to say it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And he understands that they said we are good together. We made an effort. And the word they said was to say we had a good experience. And now we have rest and we are good all together. But it was absolutely not connected to the view and to the situation geographically. And Philippe Descola, as an Occidental people, Foucault, he was connecting the view with these emotions.
Yes.
And it's great
Yes.
to have that. To see how we constantly see nature as something that remembers us something. We do not connect to the feeling directly. We push it to the nature, and there's a kind of feedback. And I think this is a feeling I have for a long time, but it took me a long time to build enough ideas to explain that. And when I heard the scholar saying it, I understood really, it's that we use landscape, it's why we destroy nature, because we do not connect our appartenance to nature. We are completely disconnected from that. And so we think it's landscape, it's outside of us. It's an image. So to express that it's not an image, I have to build image where you see that there is no nature. Yeah. You see there is something further. You see there is a tree, but you see it's not the tree on the image. So you can maybe more efficiently connect to the real tree because you do not see it for real.
Yeah.
It's a pure image. So making this image doesn't extract anything from nature. It's very respectful images of nature. And so the idea of landscapes is disconnected from the reality because with time I know that a lot of my films, the situation in nature is not good for you. For example, you have a completely gray sky, it's raining, there is wind, it's difficult to film, and you see it, and you could say it's a bad weather, we are not good here, But in fact, it's only cultural, You have just to accept that, because nature is not dealing with anything. It's just a fact. It's a present. It's a reality. It's not a composition. So I think it's what conducted me to work on landscape and nature. It's the less cultural thing in reality, in nature. Because cultural is only for human.
Yeah, yeah.
Stupid.
Yeah, but it's a construction, not
Yeah.
it's a construction science 500 years ago or more. Yeah, the idea of the landscape starts with the painting, with paint. Yeah. And what is your way to represent the landscape aesthetic?
What is my aesthetic to represent landscape?
Yes.
Time. It's very related to time because, for example, the same situation of bad weather. You know, uh, there is one of my films that's called Impression. It's in Normandy, and it was very grey most of the time when I was filming. And at one moment, I was filming just a small tree, you know, in the front of the sky, but the sky is completely gray. And just when you see the normal image, maybe I have it. When you see the normal image, it's absolutely not interesting.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't tell you any kind of story. But just check if I have it. I have it. Yeah. And so what I did, no, I don't have it. I send you the link. What I did is to just put a white image and then this image of the small tree. And in fact, you have the white image, and with my technique, the tree will appear inside the white, but just with movement. You know, and you see a small movement appearing in the white, and you don't know if you see something moving or not, and it becomes a very, very strong image, you know. And from from this is only how the small tree exists in time, you know, with a very small wind, and so I erase everything from the image except that movement, you know, and so the thing becomes only its relationship with time. You know? And so it's not conceptual, it's completely leaving everything except that. So at the first degree, everything exists with time in my work.
Okay, well, we can stop for a moment if you want to say hello or something.
Hello, Jacques. Nice to see you.
How are you?
I'm well. I understand we're supposed to be having a debate at some point.
Yeah.
I'm Stephen Buck.
Nice to meet you, and Sara.
Nice to meet you, Sara. If you guys need some more time, though, I can come back. Because you were going to...
I have more questions,
Of course.
but if you prefer, I can wait.
Sure, we can figure it out. Just let me know what you'd like.
I don't understand.
I'm sorry.
C'était dur. You have to choose.
No, I can come back later. You guys should finish up what you're doing.
I'm well with you here, no problem.
You can stay here.
Yeah.
Sure, of course. Yeah, no, I just don't want to interrupt.
continue?
Oh, please,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And then, if you want, Gonzalo told me that
The camera.
yeah, a conversation between you and maybe I do some questions.
Sure. Anything
Yeah?
you'd like to do.
Okay, perfect. Thanks. I have to learn more English.
To practice.
Yeah, absolutely. um, eh, eh,
You want to,
¿Qué es lo que más te interesa de la imagen del cine, de la imagen fílmica a nivel estético?
what interests me in making images?
Yes, the color, the composition,
Everything.
yeah.
Everything, yeah. Maybe what interests me most is what happens when I see something. Sometimes I just see something and I just have to catch my camera and film because it's appealing me. It's a call. You understand call? Something is calling me.
I came in via Madrid and then
It's like a shout.
in my own for
Okay. Yes.
I just got in just today.
And so,
I
because
missed,
there is
unfortunately,
something,
the Brecht
I
film
film
last
it.
night and
And then it's light. But when I say it's light, it's not there is a beautiful light or there is not a beautiful light.
the screening last night.
A low light, a bad light can be very beautiful, very strong. You know, when sometimes you really don't see something, just hear but you don't really see it. I like it.
You took the train there.
I do very often film from very far. I have a huge zoom. So I film from very far because I film also all the air. You know, when you film from far, in fact, you have air movement.
Yeah.
Correct.
It's just
You know, Hotel Jerry from Belvira.
Yeah.
So you have all the refraction and the distortion of the light. So I do often film from very far for this reason, to have the movement of air,
Yeah.
so to have a piece of the world in my image, not just a subject, you know. It's just like you know, when in geology.
What is happening? It's
Yeah.
like what is happening in the air.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah.
All the birds. And sometimes you have birds that cross the camera and there is kilometers between. But you feel that they are connected. Yeah. That, and also for perspective. Because filming with a zoom destructs the perspective. You know? Because the field is not open like that. It's like that. And so everything becomes straight and everything appears to be on the same field. And with my technique, things are more and more connected in the same position. And this is their speed that separates the fields. So sometimes if something goes faster behind, it appears to be in the front. So it can really change things. So it what makes the 3D effect. Did you saw my exhibition? No?
No. I have to go. I was working in the museum and I have no
for the
time.
sake of
But you will see sometimes
I hope you guys
it's like 3D. But there is absolutely no 3D. No. It's just a problem of perception of the perspective that is not well working.
I live in
So
Toronto in Canada.
this is what I really like to film. To have a strong relationship with the camera.
Yeah, it's
And when I film,
the biggest city in Canada, basically.
I set up the camera,
Yeah.
but I don't
And that's
stay
where I'm
looking
from
in the camera.
originally as well.
So I set up and I leave it.
They're very
I
nice.
stay just close, but
Yeah.
I look by myself. I don't look through the camera.
First trip
And
outside
then I
of
discover when I come back in my studio, I discover what the camera recorded.
Yeah, yeah, interesting.
It's been quite an experience.
In your opinion,
So strange for me to be in cities
in
that
the world of
people have
art
occupied for more
should
than
be more
300
connection
years. That
between
that it's been
video
in
art
occupation for
and
more than
art
200 or 300 years.
or cinema conventional and video art
It's been nice.
For
should
me,
be more connected.
yeah, for me there is no separation.
Just haven't quite adjusted.
The separations are related to the context.
Yeah,
For me, there is no difference normally between art, video art, new media art, any kind of stuff. For me, there is different context. The performance, when you are doing something live, the situation of an exhibition, any kind of space,
I've heard it's very hard
even
to adjust.
outside, just the relationship to time and space, in fact. And the cinema, it's also a strong concept and strong context because you are
Passing through all those
in the dark, you have a screen, you are sitting, it's closed. So anytime you have a different relationship with time and space.
Until the 10th,
So for
but
me,
I'm at the festival
it's what
till the end, so
art has to deal
after
with.
after the festival
Because
finishes up on Sunday,
if you do a narrative
going to
thing,
be
very complex, where the structure is very important for an exhibition, where people always arrive in the middle,
yeah.
and then they have to wait to see the beginning.
and then I'm flying back to
So
Portugal.
for me, it's
It's
nonsense.
very easy to get direct flights.
As if you make
Canada from Portugal.
a generative
Very
work
hard
for
to
cinema,
get
for example.
from
You change everything every time, but you have just have 20 minutes to see it, for example.
And so
It doesn't work.
it
So
benefits them to have
the contexts are
direct
important,
flights
but
running
the,
all the time.
the disciplines
For Spain,
are most of the time intellectual separation between them.
massive.
So for me, there is even no difference for real between painting and sculpture, and video for installation.
Yeah.
It's just a question of art. Anyone does what he wants.
Yeah, in the society, the theories and the market of art,
Separate.
separate art and cinema. When cinema is a way of art, totally,
Yeah,
for me.
completely. Yeah, I think the problem is that a huge part of the cinema is not art.
Yeah.
It's business.
Claro. Hollywood,
Yeah,
etc.
it's business, it's culture, and it's
I
entertainment.
actually did like Gonzalo's piece. It's
And
echoing image.
there is an assimilation, between these things and all the people that who try to make art with cinema.
Oh, very
And very few people manage to make entertainment and art at the same time, but some do. But it's for me, it's a huge
very true.
lack of theoreticians, of critics.
Me as well.
Yeah.
It's
I'm excited
dangerous
for the Germain
to
Goulart.
say stop. This is not a question of context, if it's art or not. It's a question of intention in reality. If someone does something that is popular, it also can be art. It doesn't have to be in the museum.
She had affiliations with
Duchamp break everything, when he did his gesture to say
but
it's
they are
shit.
not screening tonight, so these
And
ones
it's just
are very rare.
posture.
Very hard
It's not
to
true
they
that
tend to be kind of
the museum,
abstract patterns.
they find only art.
They sound beautiful.
Everything can become art, but it's disconnected to the reality of the thing.
And
It's
she's also just
like I'm teaching in art schools.
history of cinema.
It's possible to build things that go to exhibition and museum and so on, but it's not why. Because of that, it becomes
The
art.
work itself is really
It can be just well done, and well connected to the mood of what is contemporary art at one moment. In France, it's very problematic now, but when I travel, I do also feel the same. There is a lot of confusion between art and art market
Yeah.
also.
Yeah.
But the problem is that the people who conduct are supported by the theologian and the critics, who do not work against that. I don't understand why they do that. As I don't, a friend of mine just texted me before we meet, because he's in a conference. There is a huge conference about archaeology of media in France this week. And he texts me because he doesn't understand that some people say opposite things, very, very strongly opposite, and they do not argue, they do not fight, and no one take positions, and so everything happens at the same time. So there is no more politics in defending art and in defending what things should be. Not in general, but for people, As an artist, I always defend what art should be for me.
Yes.
Not in reality, everyone should fight, and maybe something could win.
What kind of space do you prefer to view your work? The museum or the space, the cinema?
That depends. I love cinema. I really love making things, but it's not the same thing. I do not show the same things, in my works. Some are dedicated to museum, some are dedicated to cinema, and they never fix.
You make a difference between a piece to museum and another to cinema.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is not the same thing.
Okay. Because the spectator in a museum is a worker.
Yeah, it's very different.
Is in your point of view, what is the situation about audiovisual or video in nowadays?
It's not good, but it's changing. It's changing because maybe with you and a lot of young people today that will love things change. And for example, a very important example, history of art of video in France could change soon, because few researchers, few theologians are putting the focus on the fact that in the 70s and the 80s, the government applied cultural politics against for video against American video. So American video artists are that kind of people. They do that kind of work. So French video art has to be completely opposed. And so they supported a lot of artists which works were very opposite from American ones. And they completely forget a lot of pioneers. And like Robertin, maybe you know Robertin, so he really was not respected in France because his work was more connected to what was happening with the bazooka, for example. So people who experimented were not considered in France. And the fact is, when you look at the work, finally, all those people who experiment, the media are very engaged politically against all the other artists who always told that they were engaged, but never were, because they were just using video.
Sure, but I mean,
To
I
make
was
things.
just saying to
They were not questioning video.
your piece.
So
trailing,
it's slowly
using all
moving.
The light trails. And
But
so on.
it's the same answer as the beginning, you know. The situation is not good
The woman was walking
because
along
since 30 years,
this kind of trail of layers of her.
all the theologians
I
are thinking about conceptual things. They are
Oh, no,
thinking
no,
about
no.
the question of thematics in art, you know,
I thought you
and
were
they are connected to a certain very mentalist way of understanding art. And maybe this time has
went into
ended,
it completely wrong.
you know, and maybe people need things that to reconnect, you know,
Unfortunately, I'm
to the roots
monolingual.
of feeling,
Only speaking.
of experimentation, where you can engage yourself in a relationship with art and not mentally, you know. And something very important is the question of sympathy. You know, a lot of people who work today with politics in art play with sympathy. They surf on kind of thinking that everyone got, and they express them. It's just an expression, very simple expression of what everyone wants to see.
Dealing with a kind of picture
So,
of
but
memory.
I think this is not related to art. You know,
A sequence that's sort of out of order.
maybe a bit, but
all at once.
not so strongly. And there is a huge confusion with that, with everything that people do on YouTube.
I just wrote a piece about Crouña.
So, or everything could be art, or art something else.
Is that the one with the little girl running?
Tell me about your experience here in S8 and your experience here in the festival of
Okay.
S8. S8 here in the festival.
Okay.
What do you think?
S8.
Yes, yeah. S8. What do you think about this kind of projects?
It's important, and what I think is how to reconnect this festival with local people, because I miss some local people in the public. I think this is a question that concerns a lot of festivals, and in fact I know one festival that finds a way to do that.
Double exposure.
So my experience is good because people are lovely, people are very kind, and I think I always suffered from a distant relationship with Spain because I think I really like this country, and I think people like in Italy, you know, people are very kind, but because of the language, we are often far from each other. So I'm very happy for this question. So, being and meeting a lot of Spanish people, especially from Galicia, you know, I like very local, strong thinking, and so on. And I think I will come back and make a film.
Yeah, really.
I think I will plan to do something important because I feel there is a lot of energy here, so I have to do something with it. And but for the story, I know a festival in Scotland that decided to set in a very local area and very poor area under the crisis in countryside. And what they did a workshop for local people to make local people become experimental filmmakers.
Some of the early ones he was doing this.
And it works.
This fellow,
And it's amazing.
And the results?
what he's doing
And
is
the results are good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
on his family's
and
property.
I don't know how they really do. I'm not sure it's because Scottish people are different. But all the volunteers are not only young people, it's also homeless people.
But also the
You
number
know,
of
it's
exposures he's increased every
also
couple of years. He's also changed
people of
the
60
format
years
he's working in. He
old
started doing it in
that
Super 8.
are unemployed
later in
for
60s.
years and years and
The
live
first
in
ones are Super 8,
difficult conditions.
and they really look at
And in fact, they are
in
volunteers
the
to
sense
support
that
the
they're
festival.
kind of blocky
And
there's just
there
not
is a
lot
very
of
strong
grain structure in it.
relationship, a strong
And then
connection
finally
between
these 35
inviters,
millimeter
filmmakers and those people. And we speak a lot, you know. And the message of the festival is that everyone can become a filmmaker. Everyone can become an artist. It's not a question of culture, it's not a question of technique. It's a question of the relationship we will build with it.
Yeah.
It's a question of love. And so they try to give that to people. I saw someone crying 2 years ago
I love
because
those
he
films.
understood he could
I'm
make
really glad
film.
you'll be we'll be
You
seeing
know,
more.
it's like he was 50. He always thought it was necessary to know art history, to know film history, to know all the techniques to make a film. And those people
Oh yes, that's
give him a camera
Oh, thank
to
you
make
so
some
much.
image and
And that's
help
also
him to learn how to
as
edit
I
that
just discovered.
and they screen it in the
You
cinema.
know the opening
And
image
so
of
it
the
was
clouds,
amazing
the
for him,
opening
you know,
trailer.
to see that
Well, that soundtrack is
I
the
can
soundtrack
do
of one of
something
my
new,
Yeah.
and I can share it the same size as the
Gamma
Hollywood.
yeah.
You know, it's just because
I didn't make it.
you give
I
access to
just
the
happen to know
people
how I yelled.
to the possibility of doing, and it doesn't cost a lot of money. You know, it's just a question of
I was
really
delighted. I
wanting
was
to do something like that.
I was a little surprised for a
And
second
so,
because I was thinking, is this
All those
the
people
Galician program
change completely their relationship to experimental cinema.
soundtrack?
They don't see
I was really
filmmakers
surprised, and then of
as
course,
huge artists.
I realized, oh, it's the clouds.
They
from
just
the
see
photos.
them as people that do something for a long time, and are really involved in something, and they recognize that.
No, I was.
They recognize how they are involved, and it's very strong. You know.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a very beautiful story. Yeah. And so I think this is something they have to share, and I always say to them, share that. You know, many places do that in the world.
Really beautiful. And well, what's your opinion about if you, I don't know if you know the video here in Spain in comparison with other countries, with France or in other countries in
It's
Europe.
the same.
It's the
I
same.
think it's the same.
Yeah.
There is a lot of local things happening, but not for completely connected. But it changed, you know. It changed. More and more connection made with years, and the work of Angel with this 8. And this festival
Yeah.
is making things become more and more important and so on. So it changed.
Okay, thank you very much
Thank you.
for your time.
Okay.
Do you want to have the meeting?
Yeah.
¿Qué queréis que hagamos? Pues, you want to sit here?
Sure, wherever you'd like. I'll sit with Jacques.
No, I think maybe better here. Yes, because they have to talk and record. I'm looking for the camera guy.